Go.
All right, so when I think of Richard, I first think of the similarities and differences existing between myself and the one who named me as such. Though my father goes by his middle name, Robert, our first names are the same. Honestly, to this day, I'm afraid to ask him if the reason he decided to go by his middle name had any correlation with an incident that occurred when I was around 8 years old, where I'd nearly electrocuted him into an early grave by rapidly flicking a light switch of a light socket to which he was attempting to repair whilst he was standing on a ladder on the 8th step of the front steps in the house that I used to reside. I heard a pop, and then a hiss, and then a scream, and then, lastly, a crash. It was at that moment that I believe the subtle differences between himself and I started to resonate within my father, and in a moment of clarity and deep reflection, Richard Sr. quietly faded, and Robert was what he was to be called from that point forward. Of course, this decision was purely coincidental and independent of the aforementioned. It was merely to eliminate any future confusion that others may have when differentiating himself from his brilliant offspring. Yours truly. Myself, however, as the optimistic individual I am, prefer to focus on the similarities in relation to what our shared, given first names represent. In a much more literal sense of the definition, Richard is believed to have German, French, and English roots. Ruler, leader, strong, and brave are all attributes of the name, and when put together, means strong in rule. My father was surely strong in rule on the day that I unknowingly was the catalyst for his previously mentioned near-death experience. And though a much humbler man than I, we both exhibit the qualities of a natural leader in our respective professions. We both are brave in that we face head-on any challenges that life should throw toward us. And we are strong in that we both feel compelled to take responsibility for our actions and always to admit when we are wrong. With a name that represents so many of my positive attributes, I still prefer to go by Rick. When considering if I ever had the urge to use my middle name in place of my first, I can honestly say that I have never had the desire. You see, my middle name is James, and anyone that is familiar with pop culture is quite quick to point out that Rick, when combined with James, is reminiscent of the super freak that once dominated the music, fashion, and underground cocaine scene of the 1980s. In summary, regardless of what variant of our name we choose, who we are as a person is what is of most value. And you can label that statement however you like.
Okay.